Introduction. When it comes to attraction, many men believe that winning over a woman requires wealth, good looks, or charm, but the truth is far deeper. Real connection isn't about tricks or superficial qualities, it's about understanding, psychology, confidence, and the way you present yourself. How to literally get any woman you want works every time. Dives into the timeless principles of attraction that go beyond appearance or status. It explores how women respond to strength, certainty, and emotional intelligence, and how cultivating these traits naturally draws them to you. This isn't about manipulation or empty lines. It's about transforming yourself into the kind of man women instinctively want to be around. By shifting your mindset, mastering communication, and building authentic confidence, you'll discover that getting the attention of the woman you desire becomes less about luck and more about who you are becoming. 1. Confidence is magnetic. Confidence is one of the most magnetic traits a person can possess, and it often determines how others perceive, respond to, and respect you. Unlike superficial qualities such as physical appearance, wealth, or status, true confidence radiates from within and cannot be faked for long. When you carry yourself with self-assurance, people are naturally drawn to you because confidence signals strength, certainty, and leadership. It shows that you know who you are, what you stand for, and where you are going. This self-belief creates an invisible aura that makes others curious, intrigued, and even inspired by your presence. Confidence is magnetic because it communicates stability in a world full of uncertainty. People gravitate toward those who seem grounded and unshakable, as it provides them with a sense of security and admiration. For example, when you speak with conviction, maintain steady eye contact, and express yourself without hesitation, others instantly trust and value your words more. Confidence also allows you to take risks, embrace challenges, and pursue goals without being paralyzed by fear of judgment or failure, which again sets you apart from the majority who hesitate and doubt themselves. Moreover, confidence impacts how you treat others. A confident person does not need to put anyone down to feel better. Instead, they uplift, encourage, and create positive energy wherever they go. This generosity of spirit makes people want to be around them, further amplifying their magnetism. However, it is crucial to understand that confidence does not mean arrogance. Arrogance is loud, insecure, and desperate for validation, while true confidence is calm, quiet, and self-sustaining. You do not need to announce it. People feel it in the way you walk into a room, how you carry yourself, and how you respond to challenges. Building this type of magnetic confidence requires self-awareness, discipline, and consistent action. The more you keep promises to yourself, achieve small victories, and step out of your comfort zone, the stronger your belief in yourself grows. Over time, this belief becomes unshakable, and others begin to sense it effortlessly in relationships. Confidence is especially magnetic because it conveys independence and emotional strength. A confident person is not needy or desperate for attention. Instead, they give space while still showing value, which creates an irresistible pull. In professional settings, confidence commands respect and opens opportunities because people trust leaders who believe in themselves. Ultimately, confidence is magnetic because it aligns your inner world with your outer actions. When you truly believe in yourself, it shows in everything you do, and people cannot help but be drawn to that kind of energy. Confidence makes you stand out, it amplifies your attractiveness, and it transforms your presence into something unforgettable. It is not just about what you say or do, it is about the energy you carry, and when that energy radiates certainty, strength, and calm assurance, it becomes a force that attracts success, respect, and admiration into your life. 2. Purpose over neediness. One of the most important lessons in life, relationships, and self-mastery is choosing purpose over neediness. When a man lives without a clear purpose, he naturally gravitates toward clinginess, desperation, and the need for external validation. He begins to look for his sense of worth in the eyes of others, especially women, and this creates a dangerous imbalance. Neediness is not just unattractive, it signals a lack of self-direction and inner stability. A needy man constantly seeks reassurance, attention, and approval, which makes him appear weak, insecure, and dependent. But when a man lives with purpose, everything changes. Purpose gives direction, meaning, and strength. It anchors him so deeply that he no longer needs to beg for validation because he already validates himself through progress toward his mission. Think about it. The most magnetic people in the world are not those who chase others, but those who are so deeply absorbed in their work, passion, and growth that people naturally gravitate toward them. A man with purpose does not ask, "Will she like me?" but instead asks, "Am I becoming the man I'm meant to be?" This shift frees him from the chains of desperation. In relationships, purpose protects him from being controlled, manipulated, or emotionally enslaved, because he is never willing to sacrifice his mission for fleeting approval. True fulfillment does not come from clinging to people, but from walking a path that feels aligned with your values and vision. Ironically, when you prioritize your mission over neediness, you become far more attractive, respected, and desired, because people sense your independence and strength. Purpose creates abundance, while neediness creates scarcity. Purpose radiates confidence, while neediness projects weakness. To master this lesson, remind yourself daily that your highest loyalty must always be to your growth and mission. Pour your energy into becoming sharper, stronger, wiser, and more grounded. When you are aligned with your purpose, you bring value to every interaction instead of draining it with insecurity. Women, opportunities, and respect flow naturally to the man who walks with direction. But the man who sacrifices his mission for approval will always feel empty, frustrated, and overlooked. In the end, life tests you with a choice. Live as a man who chases fleeting validation, or live as a man who builds an unshakable legacy. Choose purpose over neediness, and you will never have to beg for love, respect, or attention. They will find you as a natural consequence of the man you've become. 3. Emotional control. Emotional control is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop, because it shapes the way we respond to life's challenges, relationships, and inner conflicts. To have emotional control does not mean to suppress feelings or pretend they do not exist. Rather, it is about mastering the ability to regulate them in a way that serves your highest good. When you allow emotions like anger, fear, or jealousy to take over, you become reactive instead of intentional, and this often leads to decisions you later regret. A person with emotional control is able to pause, reflect, and choose their response, rather than being enslaved by impulses. This creates a sense of inner strength and balance that others notice and respect. For example, when someone insults you, an uncontrolled response might be to lash out in anger, escalating the conflict. But with emotional control, you pause, breathe, and recognize that their words say more about them than about you. Instead of giving them power over your state of mind, you maintain composure, which protects your dignity and peace. Emotional control also builds resilience. Life will always throw unexpected challenges your way, from personal setbacks to professional disappointments, and without control, such moments can overwhelm you. But when you train your mind to stay calm, you create clarity in chaos, making it easier to find solutions and move forward. Moreover, emotional control enhances relationships, because people feel safe and respected around someone who is steady and not easily provoked. Trust and harmony grow when your loved ones know you will not explode in anger or sink into emotional volatility. Cultivating emotional control requires practice. Self-awareness, breathing exercises, mindfulness, and reflection all play a role. By consistently observing your triggers and choosing conscious responses, you rewire your brain to remain calm under pressure. In the long run, emotional control becomes a form of power, quiet, steady, and unshakable. It allows you to live life with intentionality instead of being tossed around by every passing feeling. Ultimately, emotional control is not about denying your humanity, but elevating it, proving that you are the master of yourself and not a prisoner of fleeting emotions. 4. Genuine presence. Genuine presence is one of the rarest and most powerful qualities a person can cultivate in today's distracted world. At its core, genuine presence means being fully engaged in the moment, offering your undivided attention to the person or situation in front of you without letting your mind drift to the past, the future, or your own inner chatter. It is not about merely showing up physically. It is about showing up emotionally, mentally, and spiritually with sincerity and openness. When you embody genuine presence, people feel truly seen, valued, and respected, because your energy is grounded in authenticity rather than pretense. Think about the difference between talking to someone who listens half-heartedly while checking their phone versus someone who locks eyes with you, listens intently, and responds with thoughtfulness. The latter makes you feel important and understood, which builds trust and deepens connection. Genuine presence requires slowing down and resisting the urge to multitask. Because real human connection cannot thrive in distraction, it is cultivated through mindfulness, by being aware of your thoughts and choosing to gently return your focus to the here and now. When you practice genuine presence, you also communicate without masks, showing your true self rather than trying to impress or manipulate. This doesn't mean oversharing or being unfiltered, but rather aligning your words and actions with honesty and integrity. In relationships, genuine presence nurtures intimacy because people feel safe to be themselves around you. In leadership, it builds loyalty because your team senses that you actually care, not just perform concern. In daily life, it transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges that leave a lasting impression. To embody genuine presence, cultivate active listening, eye contact, patience, and empathy. Set aside distractions, breathe, and focus on the human being in front of you as if they were the only person that mattered in that moment. Over time, this practice not only enriches your connections with others but also deepens your connection with yourself, giving you peace, clarity, and confidence. Genuine presence is not about perfection but about authenticity. And when people feel your sincerity, they are drawn to you naturally. It is the invisible magnet of trust, respect, and love. And in a noisy world filled with superficial interactions, it is a gift that stands out more than anything else. 5. Masculine energy. Masculine energy is not about gender, but about an inner force that drives direction, strength, and purpose in life. It is the energy of action, focus, and structure, the power that pushes through obstacles and creates order out of chaos. When you embody masculine energy, you cultivate discipline, resilience, and the ability to lead both yourself and others. This energy is forward-moving, goal-oriented, and deeply connected to the principle of responsibility. It thrives on challenges, not avoiding them but seeing them as opportunities to grow stronger and sharper. Masculine energy is what makes a man or woman step into courage when fear appears, to face difficulties without running, and to stay grounded when others crumble. It is about having clarity of vision and the inner strength to pursue that vision no matter how difficult the road becomes. Yet, masculine energy is not rigid aggression. It is a calm, controlled power that knows when to act and when to wait. It is protective, providing safety for self and others, while also being assertive enough to draw boundaries that preserve dignity and respect. A man rooted in masculine energy does not need external validation because he is anchored in his own purpose and values. He is decisive, not indecisive, and he embraces accountability instead of shifting blame. In relationships, masculine energy offers direction, stability, and trustworthiness, creating the container where feminine energy can flourish. In life, it pushes one to rise early, to work with discipline, to keep commitments, and to transform vision into reality. Without masculine energy, there is stagnation, weakness, and lack of purpose. But with it, there is clarity, strength, and the ability to endure storms without losing direction. Cultivating this energy means mastering your emotions, taking charge of your life, and living with intention. It is the energy of kings, warriors, builders, and leaders. And when you learn to balance it with compassion, you become unshakable, respected, and deeply powerful in everything you do. 6. Respect and boundaries are the cornerstones of healthy relationships, personal growth, and emotional well-being. At its core, respect means recognizing the inherent worth of another person and treating them with dignity, consideration, and fairness, regardless of differences in opinions, beliefs, or lifestyles. Boundaries, on the other hand, are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable or unacceptable in the way others treat us and how we allow ourselves to engage with others. Together, respect and boundaries create a framework where individuals can coexist harmoniously without overstepping into each other's personal space, values, or sense of identity. Without respect, boundaries often get violated, leading to resentment, exploitation, or emotional damage. Similarly, without boundaries, respect becomes hollow, as it lacks the structure needed to protect individuality and self-worth. Establishing boundaries requires clarity, self-awareness, and communication. It involves knowing your own limits, whether physical, emotional, or mental, and being able to express them confidently without guilt. Respecting boundaries means honoring someone's no without questioning or pressuring them, acknowledging their autonomy, and valuing their right to make choices for themselves. Respect also extends inward toward oneself. Self-respect means refusing to compromise your values, tolerating mistreatment, or abandoning your needs in order to please others. Boundaries support self-respect by protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being from being consumed by unhealthy dynamics. In relationships, respect and boundaries foster trust, safety, and balance. They prevent power struggles, manipulation, and dependency. For example, a friend who respects your boundary of not answering calls late at night shows care for your rest, while you respecting their need for space when they feel overwhelmed nurtures mutual trust. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out, but rather guidelines that allow healthy connections to flourish. When people understand and uphold each other's boundaries, relationships deepen because both sides feel valued and secure. In workplaces, boundaries create professionalism and respect by ensuring that responsibilities, communication, and expectations are clear. In family life, they prevent emotional enmeshment and promote independence. In personal growth, they help you prioritize your values and live authentically. Ultimately, respect and boundaries go hand in hand. Respect sets the tone for how we treat others, while boundaries define the rules for how we want to be treated. Learning to practice both requires courage and self-discipline, but the reward is a life filled with healthier relationships, reduced stress, and a stronger sense of self. When you respect others' boundaries and hold firm to your own, you demonstrate strength, emotional intelligence, and integrity. This not only earns the trust and admiration of others, but also nurtures your inner peace. Respect and boundaries, therefore, are not limitations but liberation tools that free us to love, connect, and live in harmony without losing ourselves. In the process. 7. Self-improvement. Self-improvement attracts because it is the purest signal of growth, discipline, and value, qualities that naturally draw people in without the need for forced effort or manipulation. At its core, attraction is not just about physical appearance or superficial charm, but about the energy and presence someone radiates. When a person dedicates themselves to self-improvement, whether it's in health, knowledge, career, mindset, or emotional intelligence, they automatically become magnetic. People are drawn to those who show they are committed to becoming better, because it reflects strength, purpose, and resilience. A man or woman who consistently works on their body, practices self-discipline, sets goals, and achieves them, emits confidence that doesn't need words to be understood. It is felt in how they carry themselves, how they speak, and how they handle challenges. Unlike temporary gimmicks or surface-level tactics, self-improvement builds an aura of authenticity, and authenticity is what people trust and respect. This is why an individual who is deeply focused on becoming the best version of themselves doesn't have to chase others. Instead, others naturally gravitate toward them. Self-improvement also reflects independence, because it shows you are not waiting on external validation to define your worth. You are defining it yourself through daily action. That independence is deeply attractive, as it demonstrates security and self-reliance. Beyond attraction, continuous growth makes you more adaptable, more interesting, and more capable of leading a fulfilling life, which in turn enhances every relationship you encounter. People instinctively know that aligning with someone who is on an upward trajectory benefits them as well, because progress inspires progress. In a world full of distractions, stagnation, and mediocrity, someone committed to self-mastery stands out like a beacon. Therefore, if you want to attract the right people, opportunities, and relationships into your life, the focus should not be on external approval but on your internal evolution. Invest in your body, expand your mind, strengthen your character, and refine your skills. As you do so, attraction becomes a natural byproduct, not something that must be forced, because people cannot help but notice growth, strength, and ambition. Self-improvement is the silent magnet that pulls the world toward you without you even needing to reach out.